welcome to the next stop. Hey guys, I'm Wayne Caveman Keys, and today we're going to take a walk out down through the creek systems and the plain, and also we're going to go into the woodlands and the wetlands. So depending on what part of the day, whether it's hot or in the morning during the cooler period, I tend to go onto different places. And one of the places that I definitely go to is the creek system at midday. It becomes so stifling hot, and it's about time now that we headed down and seen what we got on the creek system. It's just a stinker out here, mate, so let's get down the creek. I think I seen a red belly just down here.
And right at the edge of the creek, there's a red-belly black snake, and he's sunning himself. There's not a great deal of sun out. I just wanted to get up as close as I can to give you a look at the mannerisms of the snake. And you can see he hasn't got his tongue flicking out, which is a good indication of how agitated the snakes are. And we've crept up to an abnormally close range with this beautiful snake. I'm almost touching his body here, and I'd never suggest to anyone to get in as close as I get in to film these snakes. It's taken many, many decades to learn to gain the trust of the snake. For me, it's far too easy to grab a snake by the tail and film it when it's subdued, but it's a real art form to be able to get in close like this and gain the trust of the animal and make it feel comfortable in your presence. And it acts naturally, and it doesn't stress the snake out at all. And for me, it's a combination between how much the tongue flicks out. The faster the tongue flicks out, the more information the snake's seeking through its Jacobson's organ, which processes all of the molecules and chemicals and dust particles in the air and gives it information. So the more frequently that tongue comes out, the more not really agitated it is, but the more concerned it is for what's going on around it.
Okay guys, one of the things I find really helpful when I go along looking for birds is or other animals, even predators like the lace monitor, is to really listen hard to the sounds of the bush and get to know what all of those different calls mean. Not just which birds do which calls, but which calls also mean certain things. Because there's certain calls the birds use as a distress call or an alarm call, and they'll certainly lead you to a lot more animals like the lace monitor, different types of snakes, birds of prey, and each predator has a different alarm call from all of the birds. So if you listen out, you'll definitely find a lot more animals. It's a warning system out in the bush, and it spreads through the bush like wildfire to tell the other birds of the predation and warn them all to get under cover, because something's on the way in the sky or on the ground, maybe in a tree even.
And right here is a perfect example of the noise you'll hear, either a distress call or an alarm call from the birds. As this guy takes off, you'll hear the alarms go through the bush. So using this principle, I tracked down a beautiful adult Pacific bazza, otherwise known as the crested hawk. One amazing bird. They like to feed on stick insects, and they'll peel back all of the wings and the other hard pieces, and they'll just be left with that soft abdomen area. And she has chicks just in the park at the moment, fledgling chicks. And it's no surprise that close by we see one of the Pacific bazza chicks, and there's been 3 fledglings this year, which has been amazing. And she's just waiting there in the wings, and you can hear, whilst the quiet alarms of the other birds when these birds of prey are stationary, when they take to the air, there's like car alarm sounds that ring all over the park from the noisy miners, and it's a specific bird of prey call.
Today looks like an absolute beauty of a day. It's a little bit overcast, but it's certainly got a lot of warmth about the day. So we're going to wander around on the Cumberland Plains, prickly paper barks, through to the gorgeous ironbarks, the eucalyptus forests, the wattles, the callistemon, and the beautiful grevilleas. It's a haven for the wildlife. A lot of lace monitors down at Nurragingy here, and Redbelly black snakes, and a plethora of birds. There's some remarkable bird species down here.
And far in the distance, something catches my eye in the tree. It's a tawny frogmouth, and these guys are a member of the night bird family. They're not actually an owl, these are one of the night birds, and they're beautiful. They're a little bit different than the owl. The eyes are slightly more on the side of the head, and they don't actually catch their prey with the talons. They catch their prey with a beak, and they feed on mice and frogs and other little mammals on the ground. They can be found quite often around suburban areas. I quite often see a couple at my house, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, there's a large number of tawny frogmouths down at Nurragingy, and they're quite hard to spot. You'll notice they usually roost in pairs in the tree, and at this present point of time they may still have some of the chicks with them. The chicks tend to stay for a while. You can see that amazing camouflage they have, and they stick their head in the air and they act like a tree branch and close their eyes when they're feeling threatened. This guy's not feeling threatened at all. I'm actually quite close to this guy, but if you take your time and show some patience in the bush, the reward is that you get really close to these guys. Absolutely beautiful tawny frogmouth. So we might make our way through the Cumberland Plains a bit more and see what else we can find on our next stop. An absolute bolt. Look at that camouflage. Almost impossible to spot from a distance. Another one of the birds that's grown in numbers in present years has been the Eon Rosella. And they're using the nest boxes that have been provided down Nurragingy, and it's really interesting to see how many nest boxes are being used by the birds. Quite a large number of the nest boxes are being taken up. It's the importance of the hollows, and unfortunately it takes quite a few centuries to develop the hollows needed for the birds, and especially the possums and the greater gliders and other animals, the lace monitors, to frequent. So very important in some of these parks without hollows that we get a lot of nest boxes there. They're an absolutely beautiful animal, the Eon Rosella. They're probably one of my favourite birds in the whole world. Just the coloration in those patterns. So that gorgeous gold down the back of the neck, and it's actually carrying a small piece of grass. Could be some seeding grass he's been feeding on. It's one of their favourite foods is the little seeding grasses. They're quite at home in the wetlands area and also in the plains, in the drier plains. So they really like to feed on the seeding grasses. You quite often see them down low feeding on the seeding grasses.
We're out at the wetlands boardwalk at Nurragingy, and stinking hot weather. The weather's that hot that we're going to take a trip down to Eastern Creek, and we're going to follow the creek system along, soaking wet. It's been a massive hot day. It's been nearly 40 degrees out here on the Cumberland, and yeah, it looks like we're going to have a storm soon, as we do out here in Australia, but hopefully we can beat the storm. I'm going to get out of here, see what we can find down in Eastern Creek, eh? So come on down this way, guys, down to Eastern Creek.
As we approach the creek, we see a very interesting bird. Could be mistaken for an Australian raven or crow, but this is actually the white-winged chough, and you can see those distinctive red eyes and the white wings. Amazing birds. And another amazing bird we spot is the scarlet honeyeater, one of the tiniest honeyeaters in Australia, and he has that long beak so he can reach down into the nectar flowers. You can hear that high-pitched call that he has. It attracted me to this area. I just knew he was around. We come to a big open pond of Eastern Creek, and we see one amazing thing. There's a pair of Isua kingfishers gesturing to each other. And these guys, it's a mating ritual and a bonding ritual. They'll nod their heads and they'll signal to each other. How amazing is this? It's not every day you get to see two gorgeous Isua kingfishers in the midst of courting and bonding. You can see those head bobs, and off he flies. No doubt this one will follow. What a beautiful bird these guys are. And as they return to the same stick here over the water, there's a series of head bobs and gestures, and they often do some wing flutters as well. You can see them turning and gesturing those head bobs. This is one amazing moment in wildlife. Oh, check that out, almost in unison. And they have their own specific little dance that they do between the pair of these guys. Oh, and there's some of the wicked wing gesturing. Amazing. And we're alerted to some noise by a red wattlebird. He seems concerned about something in the bush. Those noises signify there could be either a snake or a monitor down on the ground. You can see him looking down towards the ground. And as we approach a nearby large gum tree, at the base of the tree we spot what the birds are all going on about. It's a tiny lace monitor, and he doesn't want to go up the tree because by going up the tree he's going to attract the attention of all these birds, and at this age he'd be prime prey for a kookaburra. So he's just getting some sun down the bottom of the tree, not too concerned about me, but look at those magic colorations of the lace monitor, the juvenile lace monitor. You can see how tiny he is compared to this big tree right beside him. So yeah, we won't attract any more attention to this guy, and we'll get out of here and find out what we've got on our next stop. Look at him having a look at us too. He's not too concerned, this guy, and I'm going to try and get in a bit closer and say hello to him as I do. Hello, mate. So as we watch this gorgeous lace monitor, probably just a year and a half or two, just wander through the undergrowth right past me, we'll head out on our next stop too, as it looks like this guy has found his next stop. Off you go, mate, into the bush. Absolute champion.
Okay folks, what a mad day, and I hope you enjoyed that, and very interesting. You can see how listening out into the bush at all of the sounds can really make a difference out here, and the slightest little sounds, you never know, it could be something big out in the bush. So next time you're out here, keep your eyes peeled and make sure you watch out for any of these beautiful noises out in the bush with the ears. Okay, let's get out of here on the next stop.